most people know Intuit as like the company that made Argo CD, but are there other big projects that...
Yeah.
I'm sure there's more to Argo CD than I'm giving it credit for. Can you elaborate on like the cool stuff Intuit's made?
So the Argo project originated at Intuit, and CD is a huge part of the project, but we also have other pillars of the project. We have a project for setting up workflows, for doing automated rollouts called rollouts, and then test suite that's there and inside the Argo project. But one of the exciting things that we've been talking about here at KubeCon, we've gotten to our 1.0 release of a cool tool called Numaflow. And it's a Kubernetes native platform for folks doing data operations on streaming data. So if you're trying to get into sort of AI and ML ops on Kubernetes, we have a wonderful tool for you.
Awesome. Okay, so that's Numaflow. And so where can folks like learn more about Numaflow or Argo CD?
We've had some talks here at KubeCon. So those will probably be on YouTube by the time folks are watching this.
Of course.
We have an Intuit open source LinkedIn page where we're talking about a lot of the stuff that we're doing here. We're really trying to build our community there on LinkedIn. And then we have our Intuit open source page, which talks about a lot of our strategic projects. Numaflow. We also have a project that's inside of Istio called Admiral, helping you do like service discovery across like multi-clusters. We have another project called Player, which is a UI framework that's JSON defined, which is super interesting to see. We're doing a lot of amazing things. I think we have over 100 open source projects at Intuit.
Wow.
We have a lot of developers working on this. It's exciting to be at a place that cares a lot about open source and is trying to get that message out.
That's awesome. So like, wow, that's so impressive. And I love the Admiral, like it's a C name for like, very cute, very cute. But that's awesome. Over 100, I didn't know that, over 100.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And so like, you're involved deeply in the community. So how do you like get people interested in these and keep them interested and keep them aware of all these things?
Yeah.
Any best practices?
Sure. We internally have been doing a lot of efforts. Like even when our engineers join the company and they're doing training, getting up to speed on the platform and all the tooling, we talk to them about open source there.
Okay.
We have a module that folks, like everyone who starts in an engineering role, learns about open source and what we're doing with open source. We also have a pretty robust Hacktoberfest effort that we've been running internally for many years, and I've done a big push externally this year, and that was super successful to really get folks encouraged and see the impact that they can have with doing open source. And I try to focus on the community because at the end of the day, I feel like what we're really looking for is belonging, and the technology is kind of an excuse. Like I did a question of the day at our booth today where folks came up and wrote sticky notes, and the question was, what makes you want to use an open source project or contribute to an open source project? And by and large, many of the answers were about community. They talked about this, diversity of opinion, diversity of like backgrounds that are coming together to all solve these problems. And it seems like folks, like what they really want is to be engaged with other people. I think that we spend a lot of time by ourselves on computers looking at screens, and anything that we can do to break up that monotony and feel like we're a part of a collective is really helpful.
Yeah. It, reminds me of like back when I used to work on OpenStack, I still see a lot of people from that project here at KubeCon, and it just delights me so much when I see those familiar faces. Yeah. And I'm like, I know like that's my crew, that's my community right there.
And it's like for me, like I haven't been in tech that long, right? I think I got my first job, my first like real adult tech job at the end of 2019. So we're going on 4 years now that I've been in the industry. And even just across the companies that I've been at, coming to these conferences and seeing people like you who I met at my first job, to now, it's a full circle experience that I have not seen replicated anywhere else. It's like one of the things that keeps me engaged in wanting to do this. And not just like for specific companies, but I've been pretty involved like upstream with Kubernetes, like doing a lot with SIG contributor experience. I was one of the leads here for the Kubernetes Contributor Summit. And like, that's one of the things that I hear from those people who are like maintaining Kubernetes, who this conference is like for them, a lot of times, like, my favorite part is the contributor summit, where I can meet other people who are doing the things that I'm doing.
And you're effectively paying it forward.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.